We've completed our investigation of Chiri's office in the low-rise district.
Turn up anything?
Just like the offices we checked in the junkyard district, most of the memory devices and disks had been physically destroyed.
But don't forget, that turned out to be a good thing.
I tried running a data dump on one of the memory devices and disks we found in Chiri's office that I thought I could physically reconstruct. They must have blasted it with a submachine gun without running a standard wipe on it first. Fortunately, I was able to recover the entire fat and some fragmented raw data. One of the items was labeled with the file name Ceremony Parade Route. However, the problem is, because the raw data was so heavily fragmented, I couldn't restore it. I can't be sure if the file name is a best guess construction, or if it was information that was leaked from somewhere. But on an up note, I was able to restore one other file name and a little bit of raw data. Chief, you're not going to believe this.
Just get to the point.
The file name is Attention Seninkai Members.
Whoa, seriously?
And the raw data?
I'll read you an excerpt. The rights belong to neither me nor you, and most certainly not to that man. They belong to the state, even assuming that
I think we can assume that it's National Police Agency Security Bureau Administrative Document H88, which vanished from the National Archives 3 months ago.
It's turning out then that this Seninkai really isn't some simple Yakuza group.
The H88 report, which had supposedly disappeared, is leaked to members believed to belong to the Seninkai. Chief, what's your take on this?
After taking into account that a file named Ceremony Parade Route was recorded on the same disk, it's exceedingly obvious that we need to reevaluate this organization known as the Seninkai. Furthermore, it's become imperative that we determine where they obtained these secret documents, not to mention what their true objectives are.
What are they trying to smuggle in? I guess the first order of business is to check out the containers that'll be arriving tomorrow.
That includes the anti-material rifle ammo mentioned in the conversation the Tachikoma overheard.
Ishikawa, you look into the black think tank seen by the Tachikoma, as well as that little girl model prosthetic body.
Roger.
The Seninkai and the H88 report. It would appear that we need to take another more in-depth look at what happened 20 years ago.
Our brother was really there! Liar, there are only 9 of us. We don't have any long-lost relatives. You must have a bug. Hey now, we agreed that word was off limits. Calm down, comrades. Let's be civilized here. The first order of business is to synchronize and share our information. Right. Good idea. You'll be surprised. Tachikomas, I now understand the difference between Shibashikuru and Kararaku. It would seem that Shibashikuru refers to an evil crow, and Kararaku probably is also a crow, but it refers to a good one. Hey, now hold on a minute there. I learned all that from Seta. No, it was me. That's old data. Okay, know-it-all, what does Seta mean then, huh? For your enlightenment, Seta means hunting dog and Shikari means hunter. I already knew that. I learned all that stuff from Seta too. No, that was me. Hey, I got a question. Why isn't Seta a Tachikoma? I mean, I'm a Tachikoma, you're a Tachikoma, and we're all Tachikomas. So why isn't Seta, huh? I want a name too. I want a name. Oh, I think I get it. Seta's called Seta because his body is black, right? No, that's way off base. Seta means hunting dog, doesn't it? So even if we were black, it wouldn't change the fact that we're Tachikomas. For one thing, according to information I procured, there used to be a custom in these parts that in the 6 years it took for a child to grow and develop individuality, it wasn't given a specific name. It was called things like pile of crap or old crap. Which means that since we were first activated, it's been... Oh, I guess that means we're still considered piles of crap! A pile of crap, an individual
If we're gonna send them back to the lab, should we go ahead and initialize them?
We need those little guys for this mission. Let's wait a while longer and see how things develop. More importantly, isn't the chief done yet?
No, he's still talking with Convey in the command center.
What could JSDA Watch want up here? They're supposed to keep an eye on the military.
Are you sure you won't accept my offer? You understand that if any of our secrets are disclosed, it will be considered nothing less than treason against the state.
Remember who you're speaking to. Besides, it means we're in the same boat. Preventing any assassination attempts against Hiruma is the only reason that we're here. If you don't mind my asking, what made you decide to come up to the far north? Just something you felt you had to do?
My reasons don't matter. I have two demands. The first is that you hand over Chidi's body. The other is that you transfer over all investigation authority.
Is that a request from the Chief of Public Security General Affairs Division or from the JSDA Watch Chief?
As Chief of the JSDA Watch.
Are you implying that Chidi had ties to the military?
JSDA Watch isn't the only one who knows he was working with the 27th Division to divert weapons. Military intelligence is aware of this as well.
You mean Kubutan?
I expect you to cooperate and hand over Chidi's corpse, the data you seized, and all investigation records. I have to see to the safety of my operatives, but if any more surveillance targets get killed, there's a risk that our entire observation operation might collapse. Public Security Section 9 will hereby return to its original mission of safeguarding the former cabinet minister, and you will refrain from obstructing our investigation in any way. Have I made myself clear?
Excuse me. And what is the Chief of JSDA Watch doing all the way up here in the far north?
I trust that you'll do as I've asked.
Is he an acquaintance of yours?
Anyone in the upper ranks of the military would immediately know who he is, not the least of whom would be me. It so happened that I served with the 5th Army's 27th Division, which was bounced from post to post in Honshu as a result of him.
So anyway, what can I do for you?
The thing is, Hiruma himself has ordered me to provide a military escort for when he's observing the parade, saying that he can't count on Section 9 or the SAT.
That sounds like something an old man would say.
But I can't possibly meet these unreasonable demands of Hiruma's to send out helicopters or tanks. They're too far removed from security activities. But your Section 9 team has been given the objective of preventing Hiruma's assassination. Would you do this for me?
I understand.
I appreciate it.
Get in here, everyone. We have work to do.
So let me get this straight. What Convey is saying is that the containers Chidi had brought in by the shipping company president are actually weapons diverted from the 27th Division?
If that's true, then there's a possibility that the H-88 report that was sent to the Senninkai and the ceremony parade route map that we discovered on Chidi's desk were leaked from the military.
What has me worried is that Convey went to the trouble of coming to the far north in person.
So, what do you have in mind, Chief? Transfer investigation authority over to Convey?
Given that the threat of an assassination attempt against Hiruma by the Senninkai still exists, this falls into our scope of work. I placed Convey under surveillance. If he makes any moves, we'll be informed. Do everything you can to prevent Hiruma from being assassinated. Based on the results of our reinvestigation into the failed rebellion 20 years ago, we've confirmed that a person who was arrested along with Michiba, but who was found innocent and set free, is living right here in Berutarube. At the moment, I'm on my way to meet with this person. Considering who it is, there's a very good chance that certain people will try to stop me. I don't care who, but I want one of you to come to Berutarube Station on the double. I'm sorry to make you go to all the trouble of coming here.
Not at all.
I believe you already know what this is about and why I wanted to meet with you. Would you be so kind as to tell me about the failed rebellion 20 years ago? I'm aware that you and General Nichiba were arrested and that he was sent to jail.
Chief, heads up. A bunch of people packing some nasty weapons just entered the station. They mean business.
It's too dangerous to stay. Go through the turnstile on the first floor and go outside. Keep her safe no matter what. Is that clear?
Roger.
open them from a terminal?
It's no use! All the nearby terminals are destroyed! Oh, a terminal on the other side of the tracks is still working! What luck!
All right, use the functioning terminal to open the shutters and secure an escape route. Be quick about it.
Roger.
Madam, you're not hurt, I take it.
No.
I'm sorry to be abrupt. I need to know if you have any idea who those people were.
Sir, I've been retired for 20 years now, and all that time I've kept my mouth shut and haven't uttered a word about what happened. I don't have the faintest clue as to who would risk getting into such trouble over me holding my silence.
True, you may not know anything definite, but perhaps you have some information that you might not be aware of. Maybe you have important documents of some sort that have to do with the incident that took place 2 decades ago. Oh, I see. Then under those circumstances, do you know anything about an organization called the Seninkai?
The Seninkai? That was the name of Mr. Michiba's personal study group.
Excuse me? Did you say study group?
I did. After all these years, my memory is a bit rusty and I don't remember the details. But the topic of discussion was always the same. It never changed. What I do recall is that the unwavering theme was symbiosis in the far north. Needless to say, I'm curious. Why are you suddenly interested in the Seninkai now? Broke up after Mr. Michiba passed away. I don't think the group even exists any longer.
Symbiosis in the far north.